Welcome to the DRS zone, the only place where we live every corner at full intensity. Buckle up, because we are absolutely not doing a warm-up lap today.
Wow.
We are going straight into qualifying mode.
It is good to be back. And you're right. The time for speculation is over. The covers are off.
2026 is finally here. We've been staring at renders, reading regulations for months, just getting drip-fed information. But now we have seen 9 out of the 11 cars in the flesh. Or, in the carbon fiber.
Yeah, the real deal. The regulations are reset, the engines are different, and the aero. Oh, the aero's been completely rewritten.
And let me tell you, looking at the photos and the analysis we have here, if you thought this was going to be a boring spec series, you are dead wrong.
That was the fear, wasn't it? That all the cars would just look the same because the rules were too tight.
Exactly. But we aren't looking at carbon copies. We are back to the absolute chaos of 2022. Every team has a different idea, different side pods, different noses. It's technical warfare out there. Today, we are doing a deep dive into exactly why these cars look so different, and specifically, we're going to uncover a massive loophole that the teams have found, something they're calling the mouse house.
It sounds cute, but the engineering behind it is, let's just say it's pretty aggressive. It's the kind of thing that keeps technical directors awake at night.
Okay, before we tear these designs apart, I have to make one thing clear for everyone listening. This segment is part of our news coverage of recent F1 events. We are looking at the launch specs as they stand today.
Right. A big disclaimer.
So let's unpack this. We've been hearing for years about convergence. The idea that eventually physics just dictates all cars end up looking like the Red Bull. Is that concept dead?
Based on what we're seeing right now, yes, convergence is completely dead, at least for the start of this season. It's a total reset.
And it's not just paint jobs.
No, not at all. When you look at the technical drawings, the comparison shots, we are looking at radically different chassis structures. The hard points, the actual skeletons of the cars are different. And specifically, the pontoon entries, the front of the side pods, they're wildly different from team to team.
It feels like we've walked into a chaotic art gallery where every artist hates the others. It's messy, isn't it? And I love that messiness.
It is messy, but I have to add a massive caveat here before we get too excited.
Okay.
What we're looking at right now, these are the Barcelona specs, the launch specs.
Show cars, the
Yeah.
decoys.
Well, they're real cars. They'll run laps, but they are, let's say, simple compared to what will arrive later.
Yeah.
You have to remember, the big teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, they have the budget to develop right up to the last second. They're likely bluffing, hiding their true weapons.
That's always the game, right? You show the FIA the legal minimum and you hide the real magic in the factory until Q3 in Bahrain. But what about the midfield?
Now that's where it gets interesting.
Do they have the luxury of building a fake car just to trick people?
Probably not. They like Haas or Sauber. They've likely already played their hand. What you see might be much closer to their final product because they just can't afford to build a decoy. They need to validate their data right away.
Okay, let's get into the technical meat of this. I feel like every time there's a rule change, we have to learn a whole new dictionary. I'm seeing a new term popping up everywhere. Forget barge boards. We are now talking about wakeboards.
Right. It's a catchy name, but the change reflects a massive shift in the physics required by the FIA. This is really the core of the 2026 regulation change.
Explain that shift, because for the last decade, the goal of all those bits behind the front wheels was to push air away from the car, right?
Exactly. The old philosophy was outwash. You use the barge boards to throw the turbulent air from the front tires out and away from the car. It reduced drag for you, but it created a nightmare wake of dirty air for the car behind you.
Which is why nobody could get close enough to overtake without just shredding their tires.
Precisely. So for 2026, the FIA has demanded a complete 180. The goal is now in-wash. Teams must direct that air in toward the chassis and back. They want to minimize the turbulence so cars can actually follow each other in the corners.
So basically, instead of throwing your trash out the window at the guy behind you, you have to keep your trash inside the car.
That is a very colorful way to put it. But yes, essentially, you have to manage your own dirty air, tuck it in. And this is where we see the design divergence because it's so unnatural for them.
Let's name names. Who is handling their trash well? Looking at the Haas, the analysis here calls it, well, they call it primitive.
I know, it sounds harsh, but I mean, technically, if you look at the Haas, they have a series of simple deflectors, just blades trying to chop the air and push it in. It looks like a first draft solution. Functional, probably, but it lacks elegance.
Okay, compare that to McLaren. I'm looking at the photos here and it looks like they've just put up a barrier. They're calling it the wall.
Yes. Instead of individual blades, McLaren has built this solid body piece. It's a physical barrier that just forces the air to stay close to the car. It's a very robust, very confident design.
And Alpine. They seem to be somewhere in the middle.
Alpine has a sophisticated hybrid. They've combined the wall concept with deflectors. They're trying to laminate the airflow, smooth it out before sending it back. It looks complex, which suggests they spent a lot of time on it.
And of course, we have to talk about Red Bull. What are they doing in this wakeboard area?
Highly developed, as you'd expect. They aren't just managing the wake, they are weaponizing it to generate performance further down the car. And this connects to the biggest controversy of the 2026 grid.
Oh, I know what you're about to say. I was reading through the notes, and this part just stood out. It sounds like a children's cartoon, but apparently it's a massive loophole. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the era of the Mouse House.
The Mouse House. It is a ridiculous name for a very, very serious piece of engineering.
Break it down for me. What exactly is the Mouse House?
Okay, so imagine you're looking at the car from the side. You look at the floor, right in front of the rear tire. On these new cars, there's a massive cutout, a hole. It's positioned right between the rear tire and the diffuser.
So it's not a solid floor anymore. There's just a chunk missing.
A huge chunk. It looks like a mouse hole in a skirting board, hence the name. And its function is pure aerodynamics. The goal is to channel high-speed airflow directly into this hole to feed the side of the diffuser.
More air into the diffuser means?
Lower pressure into the car. And lower pressure into the car means one thing.
Massive suction, downforce.
Huge downforce. It sucks the car to the track. It's that ground effect grip that lets them corner at insane speeds.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. You called this a loophole. Was this intended by the FIA?
Absolutely not. The regulations were written to stop exactly this kind of thing.
Yeah.
The FIA wants to limit floor edges to prevent the cars from becoming too sensitive to ride height. Remember all that porpoising and bouncing we had in 2022?
Oh, yeah. The drivers were getting headaches. Lewis Hamilton could barely get out of his car. It was a mess.
Right. That happens when the suction relies too much on the floor sealing perfectly.
Yeah.
This mouse house creates that sensitivity again. It's volatile.
So how is it legal? If the FIA hates it, why is it on the car?
It seems to be a drafting error in the rulebook, a classic gray area. The teams found a gap in the wording. The spirit of the rules says no, but the specific geometric boxes the designers have to work within, well, they technically allow for this cutout.
It's amazing, isn't it? You write 1,000 pages of rules, and a bunch of engineers find the one sentence you messed up. So who's got it?
The big sharks. Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari all have massive versions of this hole. They saw the gap and they just exploited it immediately.
And the smaller teams.
Racing Bulls and Haas have it, but they're smaller, less aggressive versions. It tells you the top teams have simulation tools that spotted this way earlier. The big teams designed the whole car around it.
So we have the wakeboard at the front, the mouse house at the back. But how do you get the air from A to B? This brings us to the SIDEPOD wars.
This is the visual battleground. To feed the mouse house, two distinct tribes have formed. Two completely different philosophies.
I've seen the photos, and the difference is stark. Let's call the first tribe the undercut. This is Mercedes and Ferrari, right?
Correct. If you look at their cars, the side pods do not reach the floor. They're almost floating. They create this massive a tunnel, really, underneath the side pod.
It looks like someone took a giant ice cream scoop and just carved out the bottom of the car. It's totally hollowed out.
Exactly. The idea is to shoot clean, high-speed flow straight under the side pod into that mouse house hole.
Okay, so that's tribe 1. Who is tribe 2?
Tribe 2 is the slide. This is Red Bull and McLaren. Completely different philosophy. Their side pods are narrow, yes, but they extend all the way down to the floor. No undercut tunnel.
So if there's no tunnel, how does the air get to the back?
They use the outer surface of the side pod itself to guide the air back. It washes down the side of the car like a water slide. They're using the Coanda effect.
And Red Bull, being Red Bull, has taken this to the extreme.
Red Bull's shape is strange. It's this very narrow pontoon that just directs flow specifically to that floor hole. It looks almost alien compared to the Mercedes. But both are trying to do the exact same thing using opposite shapes.
It's incredible. The smartest people in the world read the same rule book, and one builds a tunnel, the other builds a slide.
And only the stopwatch will tell us who is right. If the tunnel works better, Red Bull might have to redesign their whole car. And in a budget cap era, that's almost impossible.
Now we have to talk about the teams that maybe aren't taking these big risks. What about the newcomers, Audi, Cadillac? What are their cars looking like?
I think we have to call them League B for now. Or, to use a term I saw in one report, the Mazzacoots.
Mazzicoots. Sounds heavy.
It means bulky, blocky. When you look at the Audi and the Cadillac, they lack that refinement. They don't have the aggressive cuts or the extreme slides. They look conservative. They look like cars from a few years ago.
Is that just them playing it safe?
Likely. Prioritizing reliability. They want a car that works and finishes the race. But in F1, conservative usually just means slow.
So Audi and Cadillac are showing up to a gunfight with a very sturdy knife.
Well-made knife, perhaps. But yes, against the technical weaponry of Ferrari and Mercedes, it looks like a struggle.
Okay, now there is one car we haven't discussed. The Ghost. The invisible threat. Aston Martin. They haven't shown anything yet.
And the silence is deafening. Usually leaks happen. A photo from the factory, a render, but Aston has been locked down tight.
The rumor mill is going absolutely crazy. Reports are saying the car is incredibly narrow at the rear, like dangerously narrow. The term size zero is back.
The size zero concept. We've seen teams try this. Shrink the bodywork as tight as possible around the engine to maximize airflow to the back.
But that's the fear, isn't it? Can Honda pack their power unit into that tiny chassis without it just exploding? We remember the McLaren Honda days. GP2 engine, remember that?
We do. Those scars run deep. But you have to factor in the Newey factor.
Adrian Newey, the magician. He's at Aston Martin now.
Exactly. Adrian Newey knows the limits. He's failed with this before with cars that overheated. He has learned from those failures. He knows exactly how much cooling you need.
So you don't think they're building a glass cannon?
I don't. Honda and Newey are a veteran combination now. They won't build something that destroys itself just for a bit of aero.
The hype is real, though, if they pull it off.
If they pull it off, the advantage is massive. The expectation is that when Aston Martin finally drops that cover, jaws will hit the floor. It could be the difference between podiums and championships.
It's the ultimate high-risk, high-reward play. So let's zoom out. We have wakeboards at the front. We have mouse houses sucking the cars to the ground through a loophole. We have complete split in aero philosophy between tunnels and slides.
And we have a regulation set that was supposed to simplify things, which has resulted in the most complex aerodynamic puzzle we've seen in years.
It really is chaos, and I love it. But here's the thing that worries me, and I want to leave you with this thought. The FIA wanted to ban dirty air so cars could follow. But the teams just found a loophole, the mouse house, to pump the diffuser on steroids. Are we just back to square one with the turbulence?
That is the big question. If the diffuser is working that hard, the wake it throws up is going to be violent.
Yeah.
Chaotic.
Exactly. Is the 2026 regulation broken before the first light even turns green? If the cars can't follow, we might be in for a season of parades, not races.
It's a very real possibility.
Yeah.
We might see record-breaking lap times, but very little overtaking. We're going to find out very, very soon.
It's going to be a fascinating season. If you want to survive it and actually understand what you're looking at on Sunday, you need to stay in the DRS zone. We'll be tracking every upgrade, every loophole, every controversy. Smash that follow button on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We are out.